Welcome Street Rats to Night City. I'm the one and only Moxie 11, bringing you slightly biased news footage from the fourth wall. After a harrowing escape from what remains of Shady Acres, our group left the area, each of us making our way back to the hovel to meet up. Wraith invites Dave Wacko, and Cass shoots Cammy a text to make sure she's alright, relieved to hear from her that she is. However, at the hovel, almost half an hour passes and neither Angus nor Cammy G appear. I shoot Angus a text and Cass sends one to Cammy, and when neither of us get a response, we decide to go and look for them. We don't make it far when we find Cammy waiting in line to get inside the hovel. I'm rather surprised she didn't text Cass back, so I assess her, and while her jacket is ripped and some things she says don't quite add up, I can't figure out what she's lying about. We pay her cover fee, get her into the hovel, and through to Rex's office where Wraith joins us. There I press her and get her to confess that she forgot to delete the footage and had gone back to the site to finish the task. None of us are upset, in fact we commend her for sticking through the job before we start dividing the loot. The cybernetic hand is given to me. When within the lockbox there's a set of throwing knives in rainbow colours along with various bags of the drug blue glass. Wraith estimates we can get about $1,000 for the items. None of us are certain what's inside the air highbows. I give out the 200 eddies that I collected to be divided, and while I would have wished to sell the chameleon, we decide to keep it. Realising we make a pretty solid group, we become a team and call ourselves Gojira. With that set up, we continue through the office to Rex's apartment, talk to him about selling the knives and drugs which he buys for $1,000, and lets us in that he is setting up a night market in the Nook and has various jobs he needs done. However, as a new team, we're unsure of our stance which jobs we're comfortable with, so we tell Rex we'll talk amongst ourselves, and we'll return tomorrow night to discuss details and set jobs. We all exchange contact information, get the money for our loot, and head our separate ways, agreeing to meet 2 hours before our meeting with Rex to talk amongst ourselves. Wraith returns to the dance floor with Dave Wacko, Cammy G and Cass head to the bar, and I look to see if Newsat has any information. There is of course a report from Jade that has some footage of the concert, before it focuses on the community trying to heal and the gang violence preventing that. They encourage people to push to stop the gang violence, which of course frustrates me, but I am curious about Angus and the result of the battle. So I head back to Shady Acres since it's been some time, sending a text to Cammy G and Cass to let them know where I'm going and that I'll check in every 10 minutes. Cass tells me not to go alone, some advice I promptly ignore. At the sites, Micro Security has the area secured with increased numbers. I asked one of the members about any bodies, and I learned that names would be revealed in the news the following day. Any injured have been taken to St. June. Cass and Cammy G meet up with me on the streets, just as I thank the man for the information. Cass giving me a lecture about not going alone, to which I tell him I'm an intelligent bowman and not used to having people take care of me. Neither he nor Cammy G press that fact, and I return to the hotel to crash, and Cass and Cammy G make their way to her apartment. The next day, Wraith spends his morning in the bar talking to the bartender Hal. Cass and Cammy G have a heart-to-heart at her place. Well, I research names of the dead and don't see Angus's name on the list. I do, however, see the name Molly Anderson and Rico. There's also a Jennifer Watts, which may be the Ginny Rico had mentioned. Of course, neither Ginny nor Rico were at the firefight. After my search, I head out and make my way to a Chinese antique shop with a sweet elderly woman outside. I bought her for chameleon food, which I think is plant life, so I get a tomato, some leaves, flowers, and then pick up some nice chopsticks and a decorative plant. I then go visit Pons to see what's inside the air highbows, and he informs me that if one takes them after a surgery, they'll recover faster, meaning my hand surgery, which would put me out for a couple of days, will only make me bedridden for about 12 hours. Wonderful news, but given how close it is to the group meeting, I like not to have the surgery that second and make my way back over to the hovel, where a sign is being switched out and now says Frank's. Cass finds out that Frank Yamata bought the place a week ago and is now changing out the sign. At the table and the group reunited, we discuss the jobs we're comfortable working, and our bar is pretty much set to nothing that requires cold-blooded killing. Shortly after our discussion ends, Wraith gets kicked out of the bar after another attempt to talk to Hal, the bartender on duty. Not to be deterred, he heads up to see Rex and gets a key card to Angus's cube, which is going to take over as his space until Angus gets back. Wraith also makes a call to Johnny to find out what happened to the donation money from the concert. Johnny tells him the money was left behind, but Wraith tells him he's responsible for it and will see him soon. To watch the story unfold live, tune into Saves vs Death every Saturday at 8:30 Eastern at twitch.tv/SavesVsDeath. If you can't watch live, be sure to subscribe to the Saves vs Death channel on YouTube so you can watch it as soon as the recording is released. Or you can always download it as a podcast. Stay safe, Cyberpunks. This has been your Night City recap with Moxie 11.